Hi, it's Louise at Spiral Bright Insight. It is Monday, the 17th of March, and I'm here with an energy check in and an attempt to try and share what is going on, what is coming up, and any insight that has been coming through. And I say attempt because I don't normally make a drama out of things, but it feels really difficult to really put into words kind of what is going on at this time. Obviously, we are now in this eclipse doorway, portal. There's lots of different ways to describe it, and I know astrologers use different words and different phrases, but essentially, we are between the lunar eclipse, which we had on Friday, and the solar eclipse, which will be on the 29th of March, and that is in Aries. So we've got this 2 week period, which, by definition, is almost like a void, because we have released, we have let go, we have sort of just, completed so much through the lunar eclipse that was last week. And now we have this period of pause, of stillness, of nothingness. And it's kind of, it's really hard to explain, but it kind of feels like we are in this period now, and it's a 2 week period where we are still having to let go of everything. And I'm going to sort of try and share what is coming up through that. But of course, during this 2 week period, as we sort of start to move towards the solar eclipse, and because the solar eclipse is in Aries, this is a huge reset, much more powerful than other solar eclipses might be in other signs. But just to add, an extra layer of oomph to it, this 2 week period, and particularly this week, I'm just going to talk about this week, and I'll come back and do more. But we're kind of in times where we have never been before, and I spoke about this in my last video. It feels like uncharted waters. We are in new territory, and when there is anything new, there's just this real sort of sense of nothing feels familiar. There is nothing to hold on to. We cannot get our footing at the moment. We are not supposed to. We're not supposed to be holding on to anything. The sun is in Pisces, and today the sun is conjunct the North Node in Pisces. And that is powerful in itself. So we've got that today. I'll come back and talk about that in a second. But then as we move through the week, we have on Wednesday, the sun is going to meet with Neptune at the very final degree of the entire zodiac. So that's pretty, big. Thursday, we've got Equinox, when the sun moves into the 0 point, Aries, 0 degrees of Aries, the beginning point. Then on Sunday, we have got some galactic energy sort of, swimming around as well. But on Sunday, we have the Venus Starpoint, where the sun meets Venus retrograde in Aries. Now, this is a time of, it's sort of the midpoint for Venus in her retrograde journey. And this is when she transforms, she morphs into a morning star. So she changes her nature and her very being. That is huge. And then Monday, so a week today, we've got Mercury retrograde meeting the sun. So this is another Kazemi with Mercury. So Mercury is very much following the path of Venus, and there is just so much coming up. So, and then next week, as we move into next week, then we're then building up to the eclipse. We're building up to Neptune moving into Aries, which again is huge. But I will come back and talk about those separately. Let's just focus on this week and acknowledge, first of all, that this is huge. This is absolutely huge. And, if you are not feeling a sense of overwhelm, a sense of, from 1 minute being absolutely so energized and full of excitement and sort of optimism and opportunity and just magic, completely magic. I'm mesmerized by the magic that is sort of coming up out of everywhere at the moment. and moving to from that to feeling like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? Who even am I? Where am I? What is this? What? Just, there are no answers. That's how it feels like, and that is exactly what it's meant to feel like. Because if we start to try and make sense of what is going on, if we try to categorize, if we try and bring logic, if we try and bring, our brain, our mind into what is happening and give it a label and sort of go and give it definition, then we are still in that old way of being, that old paradigm. We are at the point now where we have to let go of everything. And so that means an attachment to anything, because if we're holding on to anything, then that is likely to influence us in the next stage and what comes next. We almost need this completely blank state, this void, this darkness. And I always talk about, when I talk about the new moons, the new moon or the seed of something new needs complete darkness in order to germinate, to create, to birth into something. And often, when we're in the dark, we can't see anybody else because we are blind. We cannot see anything. We can't know anything. As a seed, the seed doesn't know that there is anything above the surface, because they just have this container, this space, and they are in that moment, where they are, and they don't know that what is coming is they're going to transform into this plant or this flower and grow roots and then move and sort of break up through the surface and see the sun, and and all of that beautiful sort of transformation. The seed just knows that it is a seed, and it feels like that is where we are at. So we have to almost surrender, just give in and just say, okay, I am open to what is coming next. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it looks like. I don't even know what it feels like, and that is okay. And where I am in this moment, in this state of not knowing, in this state of complete sort of just, I don't know, yeah, just this state of is whatever it is, then that is okay. And not to go into fear, and not to try and analyze, and not try and bring in this kind of need to explain and to work it all out. The full moon, the lunar eclipse in Virgo, required us to let go of the need to make sense. And that came through really strongly. And we're now swimming in this really strong Pisces energy. And so that is about surrendering. That is just letting go and giving in and surrendering to all that is, to a higher power. But having the faith to know that what comes next, if we move through this darkness, this portal, this void, this empty sort of space, that what it can be created within that is going to be just next level. And that's all I know. I don't know what it's going to be. I just know that we are going through a massive upgrade, and it can feel uncomfortable, it can feel scary, it's very disconcerting, it's unsettling, it's all of that, but it is part of the process, and that is what is coming through so strongly. We are effectively between worlds at the moment, and we are in this liminal space, and we've not been here before. Or we may have dipped our toe in, but then we've stepped back. But this time we're having to just literally dive straight in, feet first, I would say, and just let the currents and the energies carry us, and there is no point in resisting. And so today, with the sun conjunct the North Node in Pisces, the North Node will always show us where we are heading. This is our collective sort of consciousness, our collective soul growth. It requires us to step out of our comfort zone, no question. With the North Node, this is about our evolution. This is about our growth. This is an expansion into something new. And with Pisces, this is a spiritual journey, no question. This is about sort of releasing everything that we've known and almost being reborn, but in a very spiritual way. This is connected to the water and the consciousness of the water, which has been coming through really strongly for me through many different messages over the last few days. So very much sort of stepping into the energy that is within the water. There's also other themes with Pisces which come out. Obviously, religion is very strongly associated with Pisces, faith, a higher power, sort of God, source energy, also linked to unconditional love, to compassion, to unity consciousness. So again, that feels very much aligned with where we need to, as a collective, as humanity, move towards. We are releasing so much of our codependency, and the previous nodal transit through Libra and Aries has really sort of laid the groundwork for us to do that. But this is still continuing. We are releasing our codependency on the guru, on a spiritual master, on anything that we are told exists outside of ourselves that we have to go to or visit in order to have a spiritual awakening or a spiritual experience, because this is about realizing and knowing that our spiritual guru is the self. We have everything that we need and more to be able to navigate these times. Now, obviously, water is a big theme with Pisces. Tears, flow, cleansing. Pollution is also a big theme. Toxicity. So again, there may be sort of more stories coming out that are linked to these themes. Martyrdom, suffering, victimhood. The media comes through, and the movie world, sort of that illusion, that creativity. Drugs, pharmaceuticals. There's lots of different sort of themes with Pisces. So when the sun is aligned with the North Node, the sun basically lights up the North Node. So we suddenly have a clearer picture. And if we can't actually, obviously Pisces can be quite foggy and blurry as well, but there is just this knowing that whatever we are going through and whatever is happening now is really almost projecting us into the next level. So we are on this path. And although we may not be able to see or know or understand, we just know deep inside, we have this inner faith that, everything is working out for the divine and the most perfect, beautiful good that could possibly exist. And this sun coming round to hit the North Node is almost giving us a boost, a reminder, just keep going, it's fine, everything is aligned, it's fine. So there is there's that, the fact that the North Node and the sun are at 27 degrees of Pisces with the South Node at 27 degrees of Virgo is significant because it creates a square with the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, also with some other stars that I've been working with a lot lately in the reports I've been doing for clients. So we have Etemin, which is also in Sagittarius, and then in the opposing sign of Gemini, we have Betelgeuse in Orion and Polaris, the North Star. So this is really beautiful. This is creating a mutable grand cross in the chart. So Sun, North Node opposing the South Node and squaring Etemin and the galactic center, and Polaris and Betelgeuse. So what does that mean? Obviously, this is galactic astrology, so there is a really strong influence and support from the cosmic energies, the galactic energies, but through the square, it is almost as if we have no choice but to work with these energies now. We may have resisted, we may have not even been aware that they were there, but they are coming in with this square, and it feels really powerful and really important to just remind us that we are cosmic beings. The galactic center is our cosmic homing signal. It is the black hole that lies at the center of our galaxy. So this is sort of pulling us towards it to remind us that we are source, but also throwing out these incredible high frequency light codes and all the information that is carried within the light codes. Just literally, throwing them at us so that we have no choice but to bring them in and start to recognize and to integrate them. And then with Etemin, this is really interesting. This is dragon energy, but Etemin is the eye of the dragon. So this is the all-seeing eye, the ability to, through Sagittarius, see the bigger picture, to have faith, to believe that something better is coming. And this is very much about relying on our faith and, this whole sort of guru and bringing that in and sort of owning the guru that you are, rather than going outside to somewhere else and or escaping, because obviously with Pisces there is often a need, it's overwhelming, there's too much, you just want to escape and cut everything off. Again, the galactic center and Etemin are kind of reminding us that actually no, it's okay, we need to stay the distance here. With this, the dragon energy kind of reminds us of the light and the shadow and the neutrality and walking between, almost us through those worlds with the light and the shadow coming together. Obviously, the all-seeing eye comes through very strongly, the reminder of the regeneration process, the cycles of life, the fact that everything is in a cycle and we are constantly in tune with that, and that we are part of that as well, and the energy is too. And then when we go to the other side of the mutable cross, we have Betelgeuse in Orion, which again is very much about sort of reminding us, as Orion the hunter, we need great courage for this next part of our journey, but we also are reminded of the importance of the understanding of transformation and the process of regeneration. So that is which is really beautiful. And then we have Polaris, the North Star, almost guiding our way, that inner light, the point of fixed, where this North Star is a fixed point and everything moves around it, and it's almost like come into that space within yourself, so that as everything shifts and changes and merges and it's fluid, it's mutable, we are going through the most unprecedented time of transformation, we can hold that anchor and we can literally cling on to it and use that as something steady to hold us steady and to guide us and to keep us in that sort of, again, this is the way forward, and Polaris will lead us and show us the way. So this is about following the wisdom, but also the inner guidance that is within and without. So it's just, it is so beautiful, so beautiful. And of course, the Sun and the North Node are in a quincunx to Alphard in the Hydra constellation, Alphard being at 27 degrees of Leo. So again, this creates a little bit of an awkward sort of, the energies don't really resonate with each other. They can't integrate very well, but they have to, because they are sort of aligned, in the chart and with the numbers matching. So it's like Alphard is about transformation, is about Kundalini energy. It is about the divine feminine. So there's a very sort of strong need to call on the divine feminine and that inner flame, that inner light, but also about transformation and reminding us how transformation is a natural part of our cycles, of our world, of our existence. And we cannot move through this lifetime without deep transformation, which requires us to let go, which requires us to shed layers, just like the snake does. And of course, Alphard, very linked to the water serpent, linked to the snake energy, the number 9. It's just so beautiful, so divinely aligned. And there's just sort of elements, that all match up and that all sort of sit together and support one another almost everywhere you look. So on Wednesday, the Sun is going to meet with Neptune. And of course, this is, again, it's like this rising up into this huge sort of energy of deep compassion, but also of letting go, of surrendering. Pisces, the very last degree, Neptune is there. Now the Sun is coming to boost. This is like a focus on endings, without question. And it feels very karmic, but it also feels as if it has been a long time coming and we are finally there. And it's almost going to be like a relief. Just we can just let go, because Pisces, Neptune, the Sun, everything is going to dissolve. So again, if you're trying to hold on to anything or bring any order in this week, I would say probably don't, because I just don't feel it's not, the energy isn't opportune for that. But that is okay, because it is about letting go and releasing, that we are able to just create this space, this void, this vacuum, from which the new can be birthed. So Neptune and the Sun, my feeling is, there may be things that happen that bring us together, because obviously a really strong focus on unity consciousness through this transit, and also triggering compassion and unconditional love is also possible. But it is just, everything is dissolving. So and it feels like a really significant ending and a rite of passage. But so just allow it. If things are going, just allow it and trust that this is part of the process. And then on Thursday, we've got Equinox. So the Sun moves into 0 degrees of Aries, which is like, it's the new beginning. It's the fresh slate. It's a new start. And, it's normally a big deal, because, this is the time of balance, equal day, equal night, again, that sort of stillness, that point, checking in. bringing in it's the new astrological year. So it's like, it's a new start, it's a fresh start. Something is being born. But because this is the first, Mercury and Venus have already crossed the 0 degree point. They're going to cross it again in retrograde motion. But we've also got Neptune coming up in 2 weeks' time to cross that point. And then Saturn will come and cross that point as well. So this point is being activated so many times in the sort of first few months of this year. And, again, it's like, I will come on and do a separate video, I think, about the equinox and the energies, because there's some really interesting themes in the chart that I want to share. So I think I'm going to save my insight about the equinox and the chart for another video, because I don't want to sort of cram too much into this one. And I always try and keep them relatively sort of bite-sized and accessible. Well, bite-sized is the wrong word, but, more accessible and not sort of going on for too long. It's that is, it's like the start of something new. And I think we just have to, the fact that equinox is happening within this eclipse portal is just, it's next level. We are getting the biggest upgrade. I will be doing another video about the solar eclipse as well, because again, there is so much to say. But with this kind of, the mix of Aries, the fire energy, and the water. So we're moving from water to fire, and kind of, the combination of the two elements and the steam that is created. I've talked about this in other videos. This kind of the element, this is almost like, this is alchemy. So we have this new, this almost, it's not quite an element, is it steam? But it's like the steam is to purify, to release the toxins, to cleanse. It can cloud things even more. So again, be prepared for that. But this is about eliminating all the sort of the old and all those toxins that we have stored in our body. The lunar eclipse has helped us to sort of get them sort of loose and start the process. That was very purging. But this kind of new start with the sun in Aries and all the kind of the move from the 29 degrees of Pisces into the 0 Aries feels to me about such a cleansing, purging and detoxifying time, and it's all about purification. So again, that feels really beautiful. And there's some I'll talk about the equinox chart, because there's some really strong sort of energies about Vesta with Haumea, with Sedna, which are all about fertility, new beginnings and regeneration. So it is just like spark of creation. That's kind of what we're working with. So if things are quite dark at the moment, foggy, unclear, just allow it, just sit with it, just say, okay, I surrender, I accept. That is fine. This is what it is, and it's fine. There will be change, and there's going to be a lot of speed. Things are going to start picking up really quickly, huge changes, but it's almost like this pause that we need to integrate before we start our next phase. And then on Sunday, I've been working with Venus for the past week, and she has got so much to show and teach me. I am honored that this energy has come forward in this archetype, and she's bringing with her the most incredible insights, the most incredible energy, the most incredible love, and helping me to unlock parts of myself that I have been completely denying, completely blocked off, disconnected from. Mary Magdalene is coming through really strongly, the Rose lineage. It's exquisite. It's really, I don't really feel I can sort of put it into words, but the fact that Venus has her star point in Aries on Sunday this week, again, it's all aligned, and she is transforming into the morning star, which gives her that real strength of the warrior. So again, with Aries as well, the sun will be in Aries by that time, and just a few days really before Neptune moves into Aries. This is about really going within and understanding the self at a completely new level, and also reclaiming parts of the self that have either been taken or we have given. And I think, there's a very fine line between that energy, because people generally cannot take something unless we give consent at some level. So it is like we're reclaiming something, part of ourself. It's linked to gifts and talents, because Venus is linked to gifts and talents. It's also linked to our worth, our self-esteem. Obviously, as we reclaim our worth, that, the reflection and the impact of that in the outer world is just, again, blows my mind. But it's also about connecting with your inner flame. Aries is the spark of all creation. transformation. So again, it is something new is coming in for all of us. Obviously, it's going to manifest in different ways, but this just feels like such a profound time, and for her to be going through this journey of metamorphosis at the same time as all these other energies are sort of, just kind of dancing together and merging and blending and supporting each other, just is, it's there's no words. There's just no words. But something is changing for good. And then when the sun meets Mercury as well, again, it's going to shine a light on something that we just did not see before. We did not know it was there. And when we do, it's going to change something within the self again for good. So, we are on a journey. We are on a journey for sure. It's very much about the self. It's about discovering new aspects and elements and lost elements and aspects of the self, which is going to just change everything, really. And because when we make changes within the self, our outer world shifts to reflect that back. And it is true that change starts within. And be the change you want to see in the world. All these phrases that we've grown up with and that we hear all the time. It's just so true. We want to make a change in the outside world, in humanity, in the collective. We change ourselves, and that is we anchor into the self. We create the shifts inside, and then the outer world will just move and shift and fall in line to reflect back what we are holding within inside. So it is absolutely, we have so much power, so much potential. With that comes responsibility, no question. But it is understanding that that's how easy it can be. And, again, that might sound trite, it might sound, ridiculous, but it is just what's coming through. It's like, it is so easy when you suddenly realise how much power you have got to be the change. So the thing I want to finish with, and again, I just feel there's so much to share and so much to say, so you might be seeing quite a lot of me this week, possibly. But what came through really strongly for me as I was going to meet some friends on Friday, in the eclipse, the energy was like off the scale, and obviously the eclipse was on my ascendant, so it was never going to be a non-event for me, and it's been beyond what I expected. But I was getting this message that we are in this period of unbecoming. And this is about letting go of everything that we have been, or everything we've thought we were, in order that we can start to become the new versions of ourselves. And so this is about, everything we've been taught, everything we've believed, everything we've told ourselves. Mercury is retrograde in Aries. Everything we've thought about ourselves or felt about ourselves. Venus is retrograde in Aries. We are letting all of it go. Venus and Mercury are going back to reclaim something that we left behind, or that we didn't even know was there before. And once they've finished their retrogrades, they've gone back into Pisces, and they're going to move back forward, and then they're going to follow the steps again of the Sun, of Neptune, and then obviously Saturn as well, when Saturn moves into zero Aries. So, this is just like a rebirth. And we've always been taught, well, certainly I was looking up the phrase unbecoming, and of course, how very unbecoming of you. That word, that phrase has got such negative meaning, hasn't it? It's like, it's inappropriate, it's unsuitable. But actually, this is what we have to do. And, with the understanding that so much has been inverted and turned on its head and reversed in our world, this is what you need to be, as unbecoming of yourself as you can, in order to navigate the next phase, because this is about letting go, so that the old you can literally take off the version of you that you were, and step into the new. But during that, as part of that process, we have that moment of where we take the old version off and we are completely naked, and it feels vulnerable as hell, because it happened to me in a meditation, energetically naked. It could be, it's stripping off the old version, and it's just like, oh my God, this feels really uncomfortable. I don't like it. Oh my God, I don't like it. But it's like having the presence and giving yourself the time and space to just say, look, it's okay. It's okay. Just be still. Just anchor yourself in, ground yourself, and just allow yourself to get used to this new being, this new version. It feels exposed, it feels vulnerable, it feels very uncomfortable. But just know that as you move through this portal, the new is going to start to come through. And it's almost like it can only come through you if you are in this kind of complete, it's a naked version of self. It's like with release of all attachments, or sort of ideas of what it should be. It's just like, yeah, going back to scratch. It's point zero, ground zero. So I hope you followed what I've shared today. Like I said, it just, yeah, it just is. And yeah, I will be back. I've got a lot to share and a lot coming through. Yeah, the insights are that it's really hard to switch them off. So I know I've had an upgrade because yeah, it's not felt like this for me before. So I'm expecting that everyone else watching this is going to be in a similar journey, or there's been something that I have shared that has been useful. So as always, please like the video, share it if you feel it's valuable and other people can, that will find it useful. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Join my mailing list, which is on spiralbright.co.uk, my website. Look at my readings and the services I offer if you're feeling called to work with me. And just finally, if you are, if you want to support my work, then I do have a super thanks button and a PayPal address in the description box below. So sending lots of love, just reassuring you, I guess, and myself that we're not alone, and that this is it's unraveling and sort of unfurling exactly as it's meant to, and we're not really meant to work it out because this is a time when final one, okay, when we are moving from the head into the heart, and we are stepping into heart consciousness. So everything will be led from and guided from and created from the heart. So I'll leave that with you. Lots of love.